For this project, you will need the following items. Now let's get started. First, you're going to take a piece of printer paper and you're going to fold it in half. Then you're going to take a marker and you're going to press hard so that whenever you draw your image, it'll transfer onto the other side. You can also print out a design off the internet, but if you're more on the creative side, go to town. I'm just drawing a little eye here to remind myself that that's going to be the eye hole. Unfortunately, my paper was not thin enough nor my marker pressed hard enough for it to transfer onto the other side as a guideline, but that's okay. Being crafty, I can make it work. A little bit of improv, a little bit of imagination will take you a good bit away. Now I'm doing a Pierre-inspired mask. Thus the big feathers and the nice big beak, and a little bit of improvisation as I go along. I will make adjustments as needed. This is meant to be a rough guideline anyway. Once you have your design printed or drawn, you're going to cover it with a piece of wax paper. That way our puff paint will not stick to it. Once you got your wax paper set, you're going to grab some tulle. Now, this is a very big mask, so normally you only need about one strip of tulle. Because this one's so big, I end up having to use two, so if you want to go extra, go for it. Just make sure they overlap a little bit. You want to make sure you're covering your entire design. Now let's get started with that puff paint. Puff paint will sputter like that, but it's okay. Like I said, this whole thing is working off guidelines and improv. So we're going to adapt and incorporate them into our final design. You're going to want your lines to try and connect to each other to give yourself structure as much as you can. But the tool is going to help with most of it, so you can do as little or as many lines as you want. Just get your basic lines down first and then just have fun. Now I am switching to orange for the beak, so you want your lines to touch and be as close as possible. Sometimes the bottles will get a little jammed and you'll need a sewing pen to help clear out the blockage. But be careful when pushing afterwards because that. In the immortal words of Bob Ross, only happy little accidents. We can make it work. Now here to his crest feathers, I am going to add a little bit of a Louisiana fleur-de-lis, just for fun. And speaking of fun, this project can be done all year round, not just for masquerades, but also for superheroes, dress up, costumes. Just a fun piece of wearable art. Now to make it wearable, this is where you'll need your yarn or ribbon. Measure a piece big enough to fit around your head and then cut it in half. Here you'll attach it to the mask, since it's still very wet and very sticky. And then we reinforce it with more puff paint to create a nice, secure hold. Now all that's left is the optional decorations. You can add feathers, you can add fake gemstones, or have fun with glitter. I wanted an extra glittery peak, so I dumped it on there like I was seasoning a gumbo. Now, once you have finished with the final touches, it's time to leave him alone in a safe place where he will not move to dry. I had left mine for about a week, but you can be good for over a weekend. Now, we're going to very carefully pull up off the wax paper by pulling on the tool. Slow and steady so we do not rip our new masterpiece. And look at that peel. Good stuff. And once your creation is free from the wax paper, give it a good little shake to get off any excess, and discard your wax paper and or your original guideline drawing. Now we get to trimming off the excess tulle. Get as close as you can without actually cutting your puff paint lines. And it's optional to either go into the grooves or let them have extra space so they don't pull and tug at each other and then start to curl. Also, be careful not to cut your ribbon. Now, if you wanted to go an extra step, you could flip it over and paint the tulle with a foundation matching your skin tone to make it even more invisible. But if you're as pale as me, the white does just fine. Don't forget to cut out the eye holes. Be sure to give your ribbon an extra tug to make sure it is holding very well. And there you have it. A magnificent creation. We'd love to see your pieces on our social medias. Be sure to tag us. And thanks for watching.